Hello, it's me James and welcome back to another episode of Simply Survival. This is the series where I like to show you tips, tricks and tutorials, and of course I like to do this in complete survival. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to build your very own super simple villager breeder. Now this specific villager breeder I use for all of my villager needs. I have had this for over 3 years, and in the past 3 years it has literally been tweaked only a few times. And yes, it very much is still working. It is very cheap to build, and like I said, I use this for all of my villager needs. But of course, as I said, we are on Simply Survival, and before we get down to the villager breeder tutorial, we need to do the most important work of them all, and that is of course the pot house. Now, for anybody who doesn't know what the pot house is, this is a complete community build. And when I say complete community build, I mean everything that you see here built in pots has literally been suggested by the community. See, I take the most liked comment, the top comment from the last episode of Simply Survival. I also take my favorite comment and I add both of those suggestions in the next episode of Simply Survival. And that only means one thing. Right now, we have 2 more suggestions to add to the pot house. Now, for suggestion number 1, we're going to start off with my favorite suggestion. And that is, in fact, to have built myself a greenhouse. Now, the reason this is my favorite suggestion, because IRL, in real life, I actually like doing, like, planting and growing plants and stuff like that. So, yeah, I thought, you know what? This is the perfect thing to add to the pot house. Let me show you what I did. Oh yeah, another thing I've done is also slightly improve the paths around. So yeah, it looks a lot better now. But anyway, down to the greenhouse. You can see I have quite literally made a greenhouse. We've got the greenhouse sign. It is completely made out of green stained glass. I think it looks super awesome. And as we go inside, we have potted plants. Well, potted bamboo, because I thought that one looked the best. And we have a little bit of tilled dirt at the bottom with a little bit of water to make our greenhouse. I am super happy with how this turned out. I wasn't sure if it was going to look good or not, but honestly, I think this thing looks alright. So yeah, there we go. We now have an official pot house greenhouse. I mean, that is pretty epic if you ask me. And now we've done my favorite comment, it is now time for the most liked comment of the last episode of Simply Survival. And this one was a pretty good comment. But the comment was basically to make a jungle style treehouse out of pot. And that, my friend, I did. Now, it's still not 100% finished. We still need to add a jukebox, music disc, and these couple of parrots that I found into the treehouse. So that is exactly what I'm going to do right now. So, I think I should just be able to, you know, fly up there with my parrots. Oh god, this glitch is still in the game. That is so funny. As I was saying, I'm going to try and fly in the window, and boom. Perfect. So right here I've got a jukebox and my favorite music disc. Now because of a YouTube copyright system, I'm not going to be playing this music disc right now in case I get copyrighted. So I'm going to place the jukebox right here. Perfect. And above the jukebox I'm simply going to put in the music disc. For a minute there I thought it wasn't going to appear. And now all I've got to do is make these parrots get off my shoulder somehow. So, I mean, they don't whilst I'm flying. So maybe if I kind of jump around here a little bit, they should kind of fall off. Ah, right. I think they fell off. Perfect. I'm going to sit them down on these pots, and there we go. That is the pot tree house complete. Now, of course, I haven't done a little tour of this place, so this is the initial tree house. It's made completely out of pots and bamboo trapdoors. As you can see, we now have the jukebox, the disc, and the parrots. It looks pretty good. I mean, I didn't want to make it any bigger because it would kind of ruin the aesthetic of it. But, I mean, it doesn't look the best anyway. At least, I don't know. Maybe it does. I'm not too sure. But, yeah, we use vines to get up and down this place when we've not got parrots on us. I've also added a little path out of moss and the pots again. I think these paths look super awesome. Not only that, I've added some bamboo with some string on top to stop it from growing, to make sure it looks super perfect. And we've also got this little kind of like stream that goes into a hole. Now, don't ask why I decided to do a hole. As soon as I read this comment, I was like, yes, I'm going to grow a tree in a hole. And, I mean, I think it looks alright. I don't think it looks bad. I've always liked the jungle trees and all the jungle stuff anyway. So I think, you know, that is a pretty decent addition to the pot house. So there we go. We officially now have a pot tree house and a pot greenhouse. Well, a greenhouse with pot plants inside. But yeah, both suggestions have been added to the pot house. And now we've added those suggestions to the pot house, we need to do the final job and add those users to the wall of names. So this one right here is my favorite comment. Thank you very much for your suggestion. And this one right here was the top comment of the last episode. So yeah, there we go. Now remember, if you want your suggestion added to the pot house next episode of Simply Survival, simply add the best suggestion you can in the comment section of this video. And you never know, you might actually get your suggestion added to the pot house. However, with the pot house out of the way, it is now time for the super simple villager breeder tutorial. And quite honestly, around this area, I do not need another villager breeder. I have got all the villagers I will ever need around this area. But there is an area in Simply Survival where I am in desperate need of a villager breeder, or at least soon will be. Now, some of you may already know this area, and for you guys that don't, this is going to be Jamalot. I'm going to be building a huge castle area in this exact spot. I've already started by making the entrance and a few of these things. However, I've not really had time to continue it. But what I thought is, when I do continue it, it's going to be a good option to have a bunch of farms in this area, so not only can I build, but I can AFK at exactly the same time. Not only that, I'm going to need a bunch of villagers to actually populate Jamalot, so this villager breeder is going to be the perfect addition to this area. Now, as far as where to build this villager breeder, it really doesn't matter. I'm going to build it right here. This is a reasonably flat area. We don't need much of a huge area to build it. The materials that you are going to need to build this villager breeder are as followed. You're going to need 7 oak trapdoors. Again, it doesn't need to be oak. I don't know why I said that. You're going to need 16 fences. It does not need to be oak fences. You can pick any fences you like. You're going to want 1 carpet. You're going to want 2 job blocks. I pick composters because you can breed the villagers with not only wheat, but bread as well. You're going to want 4 half slabs. It doesn't matter what half slabs that you use. I'm going to go with the smooth stone because it looks really nice. Also, you are going to want 3 pieces of glass. In addition to this, you are going to want 1 dispenser and 1 button. I would say this is a vital part of this farm. I'll explain why a little bit later, but you're also going to want some bread to obviously breed the villagers. Now, if you're struggling to breed them with bread and get them willing, you might want to try trading with them. That's why I've put these emeralds in, and we have some optional extras as well. This bit is to clear the villagers. Again, very rarely will you have to clear the villagers. In fact, never. They always end up shooting out, but sometimes maybe an update comes out where this farm may require you to clear the villagers. If you add this thing, then yeah, it should be a-okay. It should be very future proof indeed. Now, these things are to do with this dispenser right here, so you don't actually need all of these, but it will help you move some villagers around to get your initial villagers, and of course some tracks as well. Of course, you're going to need 2 villagers, and I've gone for 10 beds. Now, I would say 10 of those is not actually required. You could actually only use 5, but I'm going to use 10 for the purpose of the video. I'm not sure why I've got all of these beds. I have massively miscounted. That's crazy. But yeah, 5 beds should be more than enough. However, if you want to add some more beds, it does make it even better. So for step number 1, we are going to want to make a little square shape like this, just by 3 blocks by 3 blocks. And then we're going to want to go another 1 down like that. So it's a 3x2 hole in the ground. And then also we're going to have a little area where the water will flow down. And this is where our villagers will end up at the end. So for step number 1, you simply have to dig a little shape like this. So step number 2, we're going to want to jump down into the hole and dig ourselves a little hole there. And yeah, that will come in handy a little bit later. Right now, we're going to put a holder block just here and put one of our half slabs just there like so. On top of that half slab, we're going to want to go 1 block like that. And that is where our villagers will stand. So once you've got this kind of thing built, all we're going to want to do is add another couple holder blocks there. Remember, they are holder blocks. Yeah, you don't need to pick any specific block. Dirt will be absolutely fine. And now, that little hole in the back, we can actually fill with water. And you can see that will flow all the way down here. And that is what will make our villagers collect at this point. Next, what we're going to want to do is add our job blocks. To do that, I'm going to put one this side and put one this side. Again, you don't need to crouch. I'm not sure why I crouched. And then we're going to grab our other 2 pieces of glass and simply add one this side and one this side, and that is looking good to go. You are now free to remove the holder blocks in the middle. Now at this point, let's grab 3 of our trapdoors and add one to each of these sides. Now the reason I'm not putting one on the back is because sometimes they will get trapped on the trapdoor, so we're just going to leave that one free. It will not matter that much, and we're going to place one here and of course one this side. This is of course in case one of them decides to stay on the platform, and then yeah, they should get attracted off, or at least think it's a block, and then they should walk off and fall in our water stream. At this point, I would say it is time to add our villagers. Now I'm going to be using villagers from that village. That does mean I'm going to have to go and remove all of the job blocks as well, because I need to reconnect them to these 2. I'm also going to make like a little barrier here so I can get them in safely like this. And yeah, I'll be back once that is done. Right, now it's time for the annoying bit. I've got my little barrier set up, and now I need to grab some villagers. So I think the way I'm going to go with this process is a boat. So hopefully once I unlock this, the villager, should come out, and then he should go in the boat. So come on, we may have to give him a little bit of a nudge. And dude, do you know what's going to happen right now? Come on. Well, apparently this villager does not want to go in that boat whatsoever, so I'm just going to use some water to siphon him to the door. And maybe it would be better if I actually, you know, pushed him right now. So there we go. Well, apparently he still doesn't want to go in. Come on. Yes, that is villager number 1. Now I'm going to go over here, and I need to pick up another villager. This one should be a-okay to use. So I'm going to do the exact same process to get this villager. I've removed this block, and apparently we've got another farmer villager. So let's just push him in. And if he doesn't want to push in, we'll use the water, and he should go. Apparently he doesn't want to go to that side. So let me just put some water there, and then there again. And then we should have him in the perfect position. Let's push him out the door, and hopefully he will go straight in that boat. Oh, God. Of course he didn't. Go in the boat. Go in the boat. Dude, I swear villagers are such a pain. Come on. Get in the boat. Get in the boat. Yes. Finally, we have 2 villagers in the boat. Now, I know what you're thinking. How are you going to pull this boat? Well, it is actually pretty simple. I'm going to pull this with a lead. But before I do that, I'm going to need a little bit of a water flow area so I can pull them up that area. So if I just come over here, what I'm going to do is make a little bit of water flowage here, like that. And I should be able to pull them up here nice and easily. Fingers crossed. So, let's attach this lead to the boat and pull them across the water. Now, what I'm going to do is actually nudge the boat into the water first. Because, yeah, when it's not on water, it's super hard to pull. There we go. Come on. Perfect. Now, we should be able to pull these really nice and easily all the way over to our villager breeder. Now, figuratively speaking, I should just be able to pull these up, but maybe I've got to make a little bit of a nicer little arrangement here, because I think, you know, yeah, this is not going to be perfect. So I'll be back as soon as I've made that. So I made this little stairway where the water only goes up half of it, and we got a villager at the bottom. Let's try and push, or pull, should I say, these things up to the top. Now, because I've made it half, it should be a little bit easier. And they should just keep coming up like this. You know what? That worked even more perfectly than I could have imagined. That was absolutely perfect. Dude, thank you. Thank you. And now all I'm going to do is use this water to kind of like push them in the area that I want. Like this. Apparently that's taking like days. Perfect. And now our villagers are in the area that is required. What I'm going to do is remove them from the boat, and with any luck they'll just go into that area on their own, whilst I'm removing all the job blocks and the beds from this village. So let's safely remove the boat, and yeah, hopefully they'll go in there on their own. If not, we can just give them a little push. Apparently they know what's going on right now. Come on, you can do this. Right, as I said, hopefully they'll just fall in there on their own. I don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe a trapdoor or something would help that along the way. So I'm going to put a trapdoor here just for temporary use. And yeah, I'm going to go remove all the job blocks. Right, I've removed all the job blocks and the beds. So over here right now, you can see one of our villagers has gone in. So we're going to have to help the other one along a little bit. Now, technically speaking, you wouldn't need to actually get villagers to start this farm off. You could theoretically get some zombie villagers, which would be a lot easier to lead into this space. So, yeah, I'm not really sure how this village is going to move. Maybe if we do that. I mean, that kind of helped, I suppose. Come on. I mean, I don't want to drown him. Yes. Come on. Right, now he's in that position. We can just push him in. There you go. Perfect. Now both of our villagers are in there. As I said, technically speaking, you could actually use zombie villagers and kill them if you really wanted to. Now, I've got to be really careful removing this trapdoor, but there we go. And now I'm going to remove all of this, and we can get on to the next step. And now, of course, we are going to want to mob-proof this area so no zombies can kind of get in and, like, hit them. And to do that, we're simply going to use fences. This is the cheapest way to do it. And I'm going to go all the way around this area with some fences, a little bit like this. And once you've done that, you should have something that looks a little bit like this. Of course, we still need access to this area. So what I'm going to do is add a carpet here. And this will allow us to jump on top of this carpet. But mobs cannot do this. So now we've got access to a farm. We've got a little area we can feed them from. The next step is to add a half slab here. We're going to use a temporary block just here. And a temporary block just here. And add a half slab and a half slab. We're going to leave this one because the next bit that we need to put on is actually a dispenser facing downwards, and this is an optional extra. If you didn't want the optional extra, you could simply put a half slab here and yeah, you would be good to go. However, I'm going to be adding the optional extra. As I said, this will definitely future-proof it for any upcoming problems, if any problems do occur. So to do that, we're simply going to want to stand on the edge. You might even need to go down a little bit further. I'm going to crouch and go as close in as possible and place that there like so. At this point, I'm going to place a button on this side and then I can fill that with water. As I said, that dispenser and button is a optional extra. And the reason we put that there is so water can flow down there. However, I did forget one thing. You are going to want a trapdoor just here. That way, the water is not going to flow this way and break our carpet. So now I can show you. I'll hit that like that. It will close it. And yeah, it should make everything flow. Just make sure you hit it again so we do not drown our villagers. And remember, that is just in the event of something going wrong where our villagers don't fall off. And that way, this thing is fully future-proof. I'm going to remove these blocks that were temporary right now, and we are now on to the next step. Our next step is really quite simple. First of all, we're going to want to jump down into the water stream. We're going to crouch and place a trapdoor here and a trapdoor here. At this point, we can go out of the trapdoors, close them both up, and that is what's going to trap our villagers in place. Now, of course, we're going to want another trapdoor here, and I'm going to use a temporary one like this. And yeah, now our villagers are fully protected and nothing should be able to kill them, as you can see. Now let's add the dispenser that I very much would add. Now, technically speaking, you wouldn't need to add this one. However, I find this system really well. This system works really well for this specific breeder. So yeah, let's grab this dispenser right now. We're simply going to go down here and remove these two blocks. And we're going to place our dispenser here. Inside the dispenser, let's put a minecart. And then, of course, on top of that dispenser, or at least on the side right here, we're going to put a button. Because if we put it there, it could open the trapdoors. And we don't want that. And then we're going to put some tracks going all the way up here, just like so. And then we can lead our villagers wherever we want to whatever farm we want at any time we want. And now it's time to add our 5 beds. Remember, you could add 5, you could add 10. It's completely up to you. I'm going to add 10 because that way we're going to bust out way more baby villagers. So to do this, we're going to want some temporary blocks here. And the reason behind this is so we can stack the beds. I'm going to place these here like so. And then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and of course 5. Now, if you didn't want to stack the beds, you could simply put those on the floor if you wasn't going to or plan to add any more beds. Now I'm going to remove this dirt from underneath, and then I'm going to add another 5 beds. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and of course 5. And that, my friends, is how to build a super simple villager breeder. All we've got to do now is simply breed the villagers. So what I shall do is grab some bread. out of this box right here. Now, I believe it's 12 pieces of bread to get them willing and able to breed. However, as I said before, if you're struggling to do so, maybe try trading with them. That could work as well, which I probably will try. But let's give this a go right now. And we're going to throw them some bread. Now, you know if they're collecting the bread because they kind of make it a little nodding movement like this. So, yeah, let's just do that. And, yeah, you can see they're making little nodding movements. I'm just going to spam the bread like this until the hearts come. Alright, I spammed some bread a little bit more, and you can now see both of them have got hearts. And we have now got a villager, and that thing shot off right to the side, and it will come into our system. Now, I believe we're going to need a few more little villagers in there just to push him up all the way to this trapdoor before I can show you this system. But do not worry, these things should breed a bunch of villagers right now. So what I shall do is stand here and wait for more villagers to spawn. And then I'll show you that little system at the front. So you can see that villager does not want to move, but he just walks straight off because he thinks it is a block. Now remember, if they do get trapped, you could use this system, although it is a complete optional extra. What I've noticed is the villagers tend to like walk off no matter what anyway. It just takes a little bit of time sometimes. They never really stay there for very, very long. As you can see, the villager totally just walked off. So we've got 3 villagers ready and waiting. And you can see this guy's really getting pushed up towards this trapdoor. Now what we can do is use this system like that, and he will collect a villager for us, and then we're ready to take that away wherever we want. And that, my friends, is pretty much the end of the tutorial. Remember, there are a few optional extras on this, but this is pretty much as simple as it gets. I use this for all of my villager needs. I've been using it for over 3 years now. I designed it a long time ago. Very rarely have I had to make tweaks on it. The only things really I've tweaked is the trapdoors instead of buttons and stuff like that. But yeah, that is how to build your very own villager breeder. Now this thing is going to bust out villagers all day. It will eventually stop when all the beds are taken up, I believe. But at that point, I mean, I could move all the villagers around and put them in other places. So that's all I've got time for. I will catch you on the next one.